Okay, so Grover asked me to talk a little bit today about some of the data that we have available in a self-service manner about the NLR network, and there's really a few different categories of this data. It's things to help you determine information about your connections to the NLR network, data and information to help you analyze how NLR as a whole is operating, troubleshoot your connections to NLR, get some data for research purposes, and then a few things to actually control the network and change topology of your services on NLR, specifically on FrameNet. So I'll go through each of these, and if anybody has any questions or suggestions, feel free to stop me, and we'll go through those. Really want to hear from you what you think about this and what you think we should be doing differently or additionally. So I'm going to sort of run through all the things we're doing now and talk a little bit about some of the things we're planning for the future as well. In general, I put URLs, direct links for all of these things on each of these slides, but all of this can be accessed from the knock.nlr.net site, and I think we'll be posting this presentation too, so you can grab the links from there. So the first thing I wanted to make you aware of is we do have a web form where you can submit a problem ticket, request ticket, sort of simple web-based ticket submission. After you submitted the ticket, maybe you want to see the status, or you have another ticket about an outage you're interested in viewing more information on. We have a public ticket viewer you can go to and see a subset of the fields of the whole ticket. So here we're looking at a maintenance in Tulsa. You can see some details about that maintenance, when it's scheduled, what the current status is. So if you don't want to call into the NOC, you can go to this page, get a quick look at the ticket, and then maybe call for more information if you need it. Operations calendars. So we have a variety of calendars that you can use to figure out what's going on the network, what you should be paying attention to, what you should be worried about. So there are three different formats for these calendars. They're iCal feeds, which you can pull into your iCalendar compliant calendar software, iCal on a Mac, or something like Thunderbird on a PC or on a Mac as well. We also have a web interface to these calendars, so you can see that on the right-hand pane here. And we also have an RSS feed of all this available. We do this for several different types of events, both scheduled and unscheduled outages and maintenances, as well as other things like field service when we're going out and actually installing parts or replacing parts in the field. So that's all available, again, on the NLR NOC website. So operations reports. We also publish weekly operations reports for FrameNet, PacketNet, and WaveNet. This is where the numbers that Glenn showed earlier came from. This is one of the tools that we're going to be making some significant changes on in the next few months, and we're looking for input from you all about what you would like to see in this tool. So right now, you're looking at a route-by-route summary for the FrameNet network of both availability during this reporting period in the past 52 weeks. We're looking to add a bunch of things to this, some more graphics, make this sort of a bit more of a user-friendly tool. So if there are things that you want to see us reporting on, let us know, and we'll try to get that into the next revision of this tool. So out of the area where we're looking at things that are going on in the network from a less technical perspective, now you have a problem that you want to investigate. Say, I want to look at the MTU on my port to NLR FrameNet. We have this tool that you can use called the router proxy to do this. The router proxy, you can look at both FrameNet and PacketNet devices, and this provides a web interface, a looking glass, if you will, into the NLR devices. So you can execute a variety of commands. Here we're looking at all of the BGP neighbors on one of the PacketNet devices, I believe. You can do things like show information about your interface, show pieces of the routing table, things like that. And again, if there are other commands that you'd like to see on the router proxy that we don't have today, let us know and we'll consider that. Obviously, there are some commands that are of a sensitive nature from a security perspective that we've excluded explicitly, but we do get requests from time to time that, hey, I want to see this new command to look at multicast state or whatever. And we typically, as long as there's no security concern, we'll add that command, and then you can run this in the future if you ever have a similar problem. So what if you want to just find out about how the NLR network is operating in general, what's being used, where the traffic's going? We have a few different tools for that. This is a tool called Atlas. Atlas is a tool that lets you sort of do a geographical browsing of network utilization data. So we're looking at the FrameNet network here, and the different colors on the lines depict different utilization on the network. So as we get into the more orange and red colors, the network is being more heavily utilized. The green and blue colors less heavily utilized. We update this data every 10 seconds, so you can load this on your machine and sort of watch the network as it changes. This is something that our weblog show a lot of people put on their sort of big, LCD displays hanging on walls places. So we have those available for both PacketNet and FrameNet. So what if you want to see the same type of data for the WaveNet network? This is a tool called Llama. It lets you see things like light levels and error statistics for the WaveNet network. This is also available on the NLR NOC website, so if you're interested in that, go check it out. So what if I want to really dig down into the utilization data for PacketNet and FrameNet? I don't want to just look at the backbone, but I maybe want to look at some of the other connections, maybe my connection to the network, or if I have multiple connections, I want to go to one place and see all of the information about my connections to the NLR network. This is a tool called Snap that lets you do that for both the FrameNet and PacketNet networks. This tool is also undergoing significant revision right now, and we're looking for suggestions here as well. So what you're seeing here is some graphs that are Flash-based on the left-hand side. We'll be replacing those in the new version with HTML canvas-based graphs, so you can use it on all of your devices that maybe don't support Flash, and it's actually a little bit more interactive than the current version. So this is a prototype of what one of the new graphs might look like. And like I said, the idea is to allow for a lot more interactivity here. You'd be able to zoom in on the graphs, zoom out, sort of do some exploration of these graphs. Right now, we're probably about 2 months out from a new version, so there's still time. If you have suggestions for things you'd like to see in Snap, go ahead and let us know. What if you want to get some data that's more research focused? So we have a couple different data sets that are maybe available to researchers. On the left-hand side of this slide here, we have BGP ribs from the PacketNet devices. We collect those once an hour. And we also have ISIS messages that we collect, any ISIS message on the PacketNet backbone, and make those available. These occasionally may be of use in debugging, but almost all the use of this are from researchers that are interested in determining some of the characteristics about the network. We've got several other research data collections that are available through the NLRview infrastructure. If you go to the NOC website and look at the research data section, that's where most of this is linked. On the right-hand side, I've got a view of some of the performance testing we're doing, some of the active measurement. We're using Internet 2's BWCTL software and doing performance measurements between all of the PacketNet and FrameNet nodes on a regular basis. We're also publishing that data into a perf sonar measurement archive. So what if you want to see what's broken on NLR right now? We have this tool called AlertMon. This is the tool that our service desk uses as a frontline tool to monitor alerts on the NLR network. And we have a public version of this available to anybody that shows a little bit less detail, but still gives you an idea of what's currently wrong on the NLR network. If you're looking at a problem and want to say you don't think NLR is involved, but you just want to make sure maybe this is a good place to check first, maybe even before you call the service desk. This again is linked on the NLR NOC page. Okay, so that's all the data that's available to you as a member of NLR, or some of this as a member of the public. What if you want to actually do something to control the network? A lot of you may be familiar with the Sherpa tool that we use to support the NLR dynamic VLAN service. I want to introduce it here again for those of you that don't know, and talk a little bit about some of the things we're thinking about doing with Sherpa in the future. So Sherpa is both a web-based tool and a programmatic API that allows you to create or modify VLANs on the FrameNet network. So how this works is you as an NLR member have a set of FrameNet ports, and you want to plumb VLANs to some other set of NLR members. You basically, before you do this, you get authorization from those members that say, yes, I want to allow person A to plumb VLANs to my port as person B. Once you've done that and you've come to an agreement, then you can go to this web page or the programmatic API and plumb VLANs between those two imports, or however many imports you've authorized, whenever you'd like to. So what we're showing here is a user has gone and said, I want a new VLAN between Chicago and El Paso. And, well, I want you to pick a first path for me. And so what happened first is we clicked this recommend path button, and the tool determined the best path was along this path down here from Chicago west and then down south to El Paso. Well, that's good, but what if that path goes down? Maybe I want to back up path 2. So the user's gone and clicked this link here. And so it's using, so first it looks and see where there's available capacity. So I might say I want a VLAN that has 2 gigs of dedicated capacity. Maybe there are 2 gigs of available dedicated capacity on every link. Maybe there aren't. So that's the first thing that it looks at. Then it looks at some costs that are based on route miles. So this is sort of the shortest path, if you will, between the two sites. But maybe that's not enough. Maybe I want to back up path 2. So this second yellow path down at the bottom closes the loop and gives the user a path in the case of, for instance, a fiber cut between Chicago and Kansas City. So they go and click provision VLAN, and then it'll say, do you want to do this now or do you want to do this later? You can schedule this in the future. Maybe we want to do this one now. Click submit. It'll go and build our VLAN, do a quick ping test to make sure there's end-to-end connectivity between the ends of our VLAN, and then your VLAN is active for you to use. So that's what it does now, and there's a minor revision planned for July where we're adding a couple of new features. One of the things that we added recently was multi-point VLAN support and scheduled additions, like I mentioned a second ago. Also updated the programmatic API. But in this next version that's coming out in July, we're planning to also support Q&Q. So if you need to do VLAN tunneling with Q&Q, we can do that through Sherpa. And you can also, a small feature which you can't do right now, you can say explicitly, I want this port that Sherpa is creating for me to be tagged or untagged or Q&Q. So that's what's in the Sherpa release for July. Plan is to have this released the first week of July, but we'll be looking at what we can do after that in the next revision. So if you have things you'd like to see in Sherpa or other network control type of things that you think we should be looking at, let us know, and we'd be happy to look at that. So those are all the slides that I had prepared today. Does anybody have any comments or questions or suggestions for what we should be doing differently or more?